You may or may not be familiar with hair versus hair matches in professional wrestling, where if you lose the match, you have to shave your head. Well, here's a list of 10 people who could really sure lose a match. So pull up a barber chair. It doesn't matter if you have a Portland fade or a Kentucky waterfall. We're going to be looking at the absolute 10 worst haircuts in professional wrestling. My name's Michael. This is the Count Out. Welcome to Suplex. The first entry on our list answers the age-old question, what if Tommy Pickles grew up and trained at the Heart Dungeon? Like Tyson Kidd, I get why you do this. If you can only grow that little patch of hair there, but you can grow a full head of hair. What are you doing? All that is to say, shout out to Natalia for really sticking through those awkward phases for you. It really is going to work in your favor. Hang in there, Natty. While Tyson's career was cut short in the wrestling ring, he is still an agent for WWE. And this is a personal message for Tyson Kidd. If you ever cut your hair like this, I'm going to shave one of your cats and we're going to get you a Kurt Angle wig. You can't do this ever again. There's an old adage about going bald. They say fire it before it quits on you, meaning just shave your head before all your hair falls out. Hulk Hogan might have misunderstood that saying because instead of firing his golden locks hanging on by a thread, he opted for a full workforce reduction. The Hulkster donned a short, spiky hair look on WCW television in the late 90s. He had a good reason to do so, though, as he was off filming the critically acclaimed fourth in the movie series Three Ninjas, which saw him playing an action movie star saving a theme park with the help of children ninjas. Nowadays, Hulk Hogan's hair is just a bandana. I don't know what he's got going on under there. It's like a national secret. Somebody find out for me and let me know in the comments what Hulk's got on top of his head now. Next on our list is the one, the only, Shawn Michaels. HBK may stand for Heartbreak Kid, but this haircut makes him look like the Where's My Hug guy. This is abysmal. It wasn't helped out by the fact that he wore the most god-awful brown tights. I don't know what Shawn Michaels was thinking at this time, but I have to think he was preoccupied with torturing a gingerbread man for the whereabouts of an ogre and his donkey friend. Shawn Michaels went and got saved, and I understand why, because he needed the Lord's help restoring that hair. Nowadays, HBK is booking NXT, and he is bald. Thank God, because we'll never have to see this haircut again. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Darren Young went to the barber, reached into his pocket, pulled out a troll doll, set it on the counter of the barbershop, and told the barber this. I mean, it's the only logical explanation to this hairstyle. And the fact that he went with an ombre effect as it went up did not make the look any better. Also, throwing in that sparkly headband, not the choice I would have done. Now, going by Fred Rosser, the former primetime player is working with New Japan. And with New Japan's relationship with Tekken, I see a perfect opportunity for Fred Rosser to bring back his iconic look. They could make him a Paul Phoenix skin. I mean, look at these two. They're basically brothers. Next on our list is Kane. We all know that Kane wore his mask to allegedly cover the burns that he received on his face as a child. But it was when Kane was unmasked we realized the real reason the Big Red Machine donned a facial covering is because of that hair. My man's hairline started at the parietal lobe of his brain. Having hair like that, I too would try to set Jim Ross on fire just out of anger. Ultimately, the Big Red Monster shaved his head and became the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee. You know, how all good monster movies end. Good thing the Queen's no longer around to see this, but the British Bulldog definitely got the white girl going to the Bahamas for the first time. The inaugural WWF European Champion looks more like his family was spending a week in Barbados than he was ready to defend all of Europe from the WWF. And this is coming from somebody who will never attempt braids because, you know, I understand what I look like, but I just got a question. Do those little beads at the end just click together every time you walk? God, that would drive me absolutely nuts. The British Bulldog is going to go down in history of one of the greatest to ever do it from his generation, but that haircut wasn't it. Luckily, the British Bulldog did shave his head into more of a buzz cut into the Attitude Era, which is a nice, which I'll put nicely, was a much better look for him. So next time you're in the Caribbean, you see a white person with the braids in their hair. It's not cultural appropriation. They're just trying to respect the British Bulldog. Lance Storm is a technical wizard. There's nothing this man can't do in the ring, and I've come up with a reason why. It's because he's a literal Jedi. And the only reason to keep a rat tail like that is because you got metachlorine pumping through your veins. Lucky for us, Storm eventually executed Order 66 and executed the rat tail. Unfortunate for him, the rat tail was probably the only thing keeping him interesting, and he was called boring for the rest of his career. While this next entry does make the list as one of the worst hairstyles in professional wrestling, I have to say it gets special consideration solely because what could have been. Could you imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin, the anti-hero of the 90s, beer drinking, middle finger raising, redneck, with a blonde skullet? Ugh. Phrase less is more comes to mind with this one. As the Texas Rattlesnake looked more like he and the Crypt Keeper shared a barber than being the future Hall of Famer. Man, could you imagine Stone Cold trying to take down the entire McMahon family with those golden blonde locks? I'm just glad he shaved it. He probably saves a fortune in having to clean his hair from all that spilt beer over the years. The next name on our list is fitting, considering he was part of a tag team known as the Natural Disasters, and this haircut definitely needed some federal relief. John Tenta, known as Earthquake, was not only an accomplished professional wrestler, but an accomplished sumo wrestler as well. And in 1996, he rocked a haircut on a WCW Saturday show that can only be described as half a skullet? Tenta had half of his head shaved while the other half still had his beautiful flowing brown locks, which was weird because it seems like he could grow hair, like a lot of it, but I don't know why they just shaved one half of his head. It's reminiscent to when you and your homie are having a nap together and then they steal all the blankets from you and you're just left shivering to death. I digress. Sadly, we lost John Tenta in 2006 to a battle with cancer. If you see or are part of the Reddit community, the Squared Circle, John Tenta's kid posts some very wholesome photos of him in there from time to time. I definitely recommend it. Guy seemed like a really good dude. Not the best haircut in 1996, though, by a long shot. Next on our list is a man named Allan Funk, and you may not know him by that name, but you definitely know him by his hair. Kiwi, as he was known in WCW. I actually thought he was from New Zealand, but apparently he's from Alliance, Ohio. Kiwi's hair makes him look like a stick figure come to life, and I'm not talking about his physique, I'm talking about his follicles. His hair on his head looks like he probably stuck his finger in an electrical outlet, but you know what? I think it got him heat, but it definitely goes down as one of the worst spiky hairdos in all of professional wrestling. Funk's wrestled everywhere from All Japan, WCW, and even TNA, all sporting his iconic look. Nowadays, the man has shaved his head and thrown away what I assume is a mortgage payment's worth of hair product to make his hair stand up like that. So, Kiwi, I'm glad you're saving money, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching this and everything here at Suplex Media. If you have a question or comment about my list, you think you got a better one, please let me know in the comments. Also, please throw us a like, a subscribe if you can, if you've enjoyed this or anything on our product. Please share it with a friend. We're a small channel and we're trying to get a little bit bigger here in 2024 with your help. Thank you all so much. And as always, pro wrestling scripted, your life isn't. Go do something great today. We'll see you next time.